Are you ready for Season 10 of New World Aeternum? Well, after today's video, you're going to have all the steps you need to start getting prepared today to make sure you can hit the ground running on day one. Just as a quick reminder, to get a closer idea of when to expect the new season, you can just take a look at the current season pass. At the time of recording this, it looks like that this season pass ends in around 35 days, which is expected because I think we can assume season 10 of New World hitting early to mid October. So again, there's been delays in the past, but we can expect that we've got a few weeks until season 10 actually hits. So that's more than enough time to really get everything in order and start getting prepared for the huge season 10. As of today, we have some rumors that season 10 of New World is going to include a level cap increase, potentially some new perks, and tons of new content. Just to make sure that you're prepared for this, one of the things you can start doing is just making sure you get your glittering gold key every week at the Well of Fortune and Cutlass Keys, as well as a handful of other items, such as the Goldcursed Epic Crates. Again, you can get 3 of these each day. However, don't open them. There is a small chance that the overall gear score increase might actually include some of these goodies inside of them. So again, just hang on to them for now, and also pick up your daily Gypsum Orb. There are a few other things that you can pick up, but again, those 3 items I think are probably the most important. Some of those are daily, and of course the gold key is weekly. On top of that, of course, just make sure that you're using the gold key and just stocking up into balloons because, hey, who knows, maybe Season 10 is going to introduce some new items in that Well of Fortune. Next up, let's talk about resources. So this is probably common sense for everyone watching this, but as we all know, as you cut down trees, you're going to get your hand on, some type of wood. As you process this wood, you can continue to use and repurpose those resources to upgrade higher tiers within these different plank categories. Eventually, you can get to the prismatic planks, which again is a daily resource. You can make 10 of these per day. However, I don't think it's the safest bet to just stockpile on prismatic planks. Instead, see that there's runewood planks that you need to actually compile this. If this kind of continues on how previous upgrades and huge increases of just new resources works in the past, then you may want to consider just stockpiling on runewood resources. That's because it's definitely the safest resource. We know for sure that even if there is a increase of a new tier above prismatic, you're going to need to use runewood or runewood planks in this case to actually hit that next tier. So again, I highly recommend that you just stockpile on runewood resources across the board. This next one is pretty self-explanatory, but you want to, of course, make sure you have a handful of gold on your character. Gold has been the one thing that has truly been constant throughout the different seasons and just evolution of New World. You're going to be able to use gold for basically anything you want. It could be for resources, it could be for ingredients to create new gear. Long story short, you want to make sure you have as much gold as possible. On this character, I have about like 1.3 in my single player guild just to hold all this gold. But again, there's a handful of different things you can do to make gold. If you want to learn a little bit more about some modern kind of up-to-date gold making tips, go ahead and check out the video. I linked it in the top right corner. I really just cover some things you can do today to make sure you make a ton of gold. One tip I will share though is that I highly recommend you take a closer look at your storage right away and take a look at any 700 to 725 gear score items you have and try to sell it as soon as possible. As soon as New World announces that 800 gear score items are going to be a thing, the overall cost of 725 gear is going to tank. With that being said, I highly recommend that if you're not even using this 725 gear anyways, go ahead and just start posting it on the trading post and try to make some gold. Even if you're doing it kind of cheap, like this is a pretty good chest piece and I'm just going to try to get 50k for it. It's probably worth more, but hey, at this point, I just want to clear out my inventory and liquidate as many pieces of gear as I can before more Season 10 news is coming. because again, there's a good chance that all this gear is going to be worthless down the road. However, maybe it still will be helpful for some players between now and the launch of Season 10. So go ahead and make the most of it. Try to sell it to some players that can use it today, because chances are high that you're not really going to have a use for it down the road. So again, go through your inventory, go through your storage, see what you've got out there, and just try to sell things and stockpile on as much gold as possible, just because gold is going to put you in a better position when it comes to day one of Season 10. Next up, let's talk about some more daily things that you can do, such as visiting the faction NPC every single day. And one of the things you want to make sure you get here is more specifically the Gypsum Orbs. So I mentioned earlier today too, you want to make sure you get the Gypsum Orbs every day at the Well of Fortune. You also want to make sure you get these at the faction vendor. You might be asking, why do I need so many Gypsum Orbs? Well, the main reason is the fact that you need Gypsum Orbs to upgrade a handful of really important gear. More importantly, you have to have Gypsum Orbs to create the ingredients you need to craft weapon and armor matrices, which are required to upgrade not only high level quality gear, but also artifacts. With a 800 gear score increase, I would not be surprised if artifacts are still highly relevant. So chances are you'll be able to upgrade your 725 gear score artifacts to 800. So again, I highly recommend you stockpile on as many Gypsum Orbs as possible to make sure that you're ready to not only upgrade your own gear, but also potentially sell it and flip some of those matrices to make a really good profit early on, just to make even more gold. The other thing I want to call out is to make sure you take a look at the trophies that you have within your houses. So on this character, I have some very low quality combat trophies. I think all I really prioritized is the Angry Earth trophies, which I think a lot of you guys probably did the same, just because Angry Earth is the mob type for the different raids. But I do highly recommend that you start investing in trying to pick up some of the other combat trophies. There likely will be future raids and a whole new zone with different mob types, so it might be worth investing in ultimate combat trophies for your main character, just to make sure you're really ready for anything, not only in season 10, but onwards, just to make sure you have every mob type covered and you can really just take on any new PvE content in the easiest way possible. I know we already talked a lot about hoarding things, but as a friendly reminder, I highly recommend that you just stockpile on all of these different caches that you gather, even like capture the flag caches if you have some of those, outpost rush caches, even major breach caches. Really just hang on to them, especially if you don't really need them. Yes, it calls out level 65 and there might be a level 70 increase with season 10. However, just hang on to them because you never know. Maybe you can get some higher gear score items directly on day one simply by opening these different things. Additionally, make sure you just hang on to all of your dense materia that you gather from running mutated expeditions, especially some of these other kind of unique PvE materia that you pick up, like this sandworm materia too. Chances are that they might actually increase the overall gear score of using materia at the gypsum kiln and things like that. So again, just hang on to the materia because maybe there's going to be a use to it. Speaking of stockpiling on things, I have 15 Goldcursed Coconuts right now because chances are pretty high that you're going to need these when it comes to upgrading artifacts and named gear and things like that as well, if there is a 800 gear score increase. So again, just hang on to these, keep stockpiling on them because chances are pretty darn high that you're going to need them down the road. One more thing you can start preparing on is just stockpiling Azoth salt. Right now the cap is 100k Azoth salt, so you might as well get as close as possible to that number, as well as picking up any Azoth salt veils that you get from the PvP reward track. The reason I'm saying that is because there's a good chance they actually enhance the overall rewards there, and Azoth Salt is going to remain the currency when it comes to spending to get different rewards from the PvP track. So again, you might as well stockpile on that currency because there might be a good chance that you can repurpose it in Season 10 and beyond. This last tip is honestly a stretch, but a lot of people are talking about how there might be a vampires and werewolves kind of twist to Season 10. So if you really want to risk it, consider stockpiling on some resources that may be relevant to that. For example, garlic might play some sort of weird, unique role in Season 10. If you have the gold and you want to risk it, just go ahead and buy some. Worst case, you can just resell it in Season 10. But again, I do not recommend taking this risk. Really, if you just have a ton of gold and you're feeling like, hey, why not? Then go for it. I have a ton of gold, so I'm just going to buy like 2K garlic, honestly, and just throw it in the storage. Worst case, I'll sell it on day one if there's no purpose for it. Additionally, maybe there's a purpose for steel ingots. Some people are very, very confident there will be. I am less confident about steel ingots specifically, but hey, if you really are feeling risky, go for it. Personally, I'm not going to though. And that really covers it. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, there's probably a few other things you can start doing today to make sure that you're ready for Season 10 of New World, but the things I covered in this video do cover some of the most important things. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing to my channel because I have a ton more New World Aeternum content coming your way. Thanks again, and I am looking forward to seeing what Season 10 has in store for us. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys later.